Another supersite is opening. It'll be second in the province. This is in Brandon's Keystone Centre. But there are already some problems. More than 550 healthcare workers who have appointments at the Brandon site for today got a text on the weekend telling them to go to the wrong address, indeed in another city, which we're going to tell you about because Riley Lachuk is live with us from outside that Keystone Centre. Riley, I will come back to the mix-up in just a second, but since you're there, show us around a little bit. Tell us what's going to be happening there today.
Well, good morning, Heather. This morning we are expecting, in fact this hour, the first shot to be given here at Brandon's Keystone Centre. Really, this is the most people I've seen at the Keystone Centre in a very long time. This site here in Brandon is typically used for hockey games, for conventions, for concerts, but because of COVID-19 it's been largely empty. But today we're expecting more than 550 people here to get vaccinated, their first shots of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine. This is the province's second super site they're opening, and they are expecting to vaccinate upwards of 4,000 people this week alone.
But those initial 550 today, you say expect, because the mix-up over the weekend, they got not just a text sending them to the wrong address, the wrong street around the corner, they were the actual wrong city. Tell us more about this mix-up.
Yeah, so we learned from this last night from the province's opposition NDP. They say that they had obtained some emails from the province suggesting that upwards of 550 people that were supposed to come here for vaccines were given texts over the weekend that were sending them to the super site in Winnipeg, which is about a 2-hour drive down the highway, 2 hours there, 2 hours back. Now, the province says they quickly fixed this mistake. They're blaming this on a third-party service provider that was responsible for sending these texts out, and really has been sort of adding to the hiccups that we've seen in opening these super sites in the coming weeks. This isn't the first time that wrong texts have gone out. In fact, this is the second time that wrong texts have gone out. Earlier this month, almost 900 healthcare workers got wrong texts, sending them to the wrong address in Winnipeg for their shots. Again, that was fixed relatively quickly as well, and the province is blaming the same third-party service provider for messing this up a second time.
And Riley, you mentioned that you heard about this from the NDP opposition. Has there been any political fallout from this?
Yeah, this is just adding to the criticism that the Manitoba government has been getting for its vaccine rollout plan. I mean, the Premier did come out here last week and say that we do expect hiccups to happen with this vaccine rollout, with this historic sort of campaign to get people vaccinated. But the NDP and the Liberals here in Manitoba have been critical, saying the rollout has been quite slow, and Manitoba is near the bottom of the pack when it comes to vaccinating healthcare workers and vaccinating people in long-term care homes. And this hiccup just adds to that criticism. Here's a bit of what NDP leader Wab Kinew had to say last night.
Opening day of the Brandon vaccine site should have been stress-free for people in healthcare who need to get the vaccine, and instead there's unnecessary confusion.
And we are expecting to hear more questions about this today. We're expecting to hear from Dr. Joss Reimer, the lead on Manitoba's vaccination program. That will come up in a press conference a little bit later today. But certainly hiccups aren't out of the question here as we get this vaccine rollout campaign underway here in Brandon. Heather?
But as we see vehicles arrive in that parking lot behind you, as you say, Riley, getting underway this hour and people obviously showing up. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Riley Lachuk, who is in Brandon for us this morning.